Well, hello, y'all. Again, this is Richard with Brian's Bus Adventure. Welcome back. Glad that you're here. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about PEX and what PEX is and what it isn't. There are two types of PEX. I'll get right into that to start with. There's what's called Pex A and what's called Pex B. Now, if you're in a house or something like that, Pex A will normally be exactly what you'll use because it's really not susceptible to freezing at all. Even though this PEX is supposed to really not crack when it freezes, there's still a better PEX out there to be used. And you'll see that I'm using 1/2 inch. That has the magenta label on. Both the Pex A and the Pex B has the magenta labels on it. Here's a copy of the Pex A. You see it has magenta. But it says distinctly right on it, Pex A. Okay. Now this is a piece of Pex B that I started to use. And if you'll notice, the clamps on it are a metal clamp that you use a tool with, that you squeeze the clamp down, and it makes a pretty good bond on it. Actually, it makes a bond that won't leak. The Pex B, or excuse me, that's Pex B. Excuse me, Pex A looks the same, but it's not. It's made out of a different material. It's made to stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch if it freezes, and it's virtually, I don't want to say 100% not breakable, but it is way less susceptible to breaking than a Pex A. Same color, same everything, but like I showed you here, it's going to say Pex A, and you also have to ask at the store for the Pex A tubing. And the Pex A tubing will come out with, well, you'll purchase separately some sleeves like this, and they will go into the Pex A or onto the Pex A before you ever even get into the process of attaching your piece of material to it. Pex B also has different fittings. It has a separate little, more extruded piece of ribbing here on it that will really hold it when you tighten it down. And Pex A and Pex B. And that's kind of the difference. So I'm going to throw the Pex A away. Don't need that. And let's see, what else am I going to do? Oh, something else about the difference between Pex A and Pex B. Pex A is 1/2 inch. But when you put the connectors inside of it, it narrows it down to a lot less than 1/2 inch. So your flow is a lot less. With the Pex A, because it's expanding out, it's going to allow you to put in a full 1/2 inch connector, and that will allow the flow to be 1/2 inch all the way through the piping. But again, it's fairly simple what you do, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you exactly how Pex A works. Okay, now here's a piece of Pex A tubing, and here's a fitting. I'm not going to waste one of these collars, but I'll show you. It goes on here first, and it'll go over it. Boom. Now it's attached there. And then you're going to get a special tool that they have made up, and you can get these all the way from $500 a piece all the way down to what I paid here, I think $119 off of Amazon. But what this does, and again, I'm going to show you on a little bit bigger piece, what you do is you put the Pex A in. You see it doesn't go on. It'll go on a little bit, so then you have to take the handle and you squeeze the handle down. I hope you can see that. Release the handle, it'll go on a little farther. Stick it in farther, push the handle down again, and it will go on a little farther. And every time you do that, you turn it. You turn it so it will not create any grooves in the Pex tubing itself. And then finally, you're going to get it all the way down at the bottom, and you're going to go once, and I always go twice. Squeeze it down twice. Now that's wide open. Now this Pex will stay open for about 30-40 seconds. Now you see that the Pex A fitting goes right in there. And that will contract. It'll contract back to basically its original size right here. And then you'll have a permanent watertight fitting in there because of these little barbs on here that are really secure. Now this one here, I had expanded before. It's a little, you see that the collar won't go on it. And now the tubing won't go in it, but it is relaxing. It's coming back to its original size. This is the original size, and this is the size as it shrinks back to the compressed size with the fitting and the barb in there. You see that won't go in. I mean, it is tight. So when you get that on all the way, this thing's not going to leak. So that's what I decided to do. I had a bunch of Pex B, and I still have it actually outside. Don't know really what I'm going to do with it. Well, I did plumb my house with it not too long ago. Redid the entire house and did it in Pex B. But for the bus, because we're going to be moving, and we're going to be in, I hope, not too cold of weather. But as it moves, the more anything moves, you know that, the more susceptible it is to failure, or at least compromise. So I decided to go ahead and take everything out of the bus that I had already put in. You'll see I have a ton of Pex A fittings over here. And again, they're all going to be magenta in color. Magenta, and they'll say Pex A all over them. The Pex B just says Pex without the, and it's definitely not what I'm going to use. So here's my flashlight. Going to show you a little bit of what I've already done in here. Again, I took out the original CPVC piping and ran the Pex A in there, and that's going all the way back under the refrigerator, back under there, if you can see that, under the refrigerator. I'll let you see it on the drawer. That's going to go all the way back under the refrigerator. And let me walk back to the back here. It comes back and comes out here under the sink. So I'm going to be taking that PCVC out. You can see still some down at the bottom there. And I'm going to be plumbing that red and that blue. Of course, the red is hot, the blue is cold. And here is what really made me decide to use the Pex A. See all those fittings in there? If you had to use the little ratcheting device that comes out with the Pex B, it would be virtually impossible to get in there and squeeze those things down and be sure that they're watertight. With the Pex A, you can expand both of the ends out, put it in, and you'll have about 15 seconds to get them connected and pushed together. And then they'll contract, and you won't have any problems. So that's what I've done there. And that comes up, these PEX lines going through the floor, comes up from the water feed down below. So, and again, you'll see these are the little clamps that tie it down to the floor, which I'll be doing there also. So again, that's what I'm doing today. I'm working on Pex A and trying to get all the plumbing done, or at least on the driver's side of the bus, and then come back. I did run Pex A into the shower, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to get rid of that in there. I'm going to take that back out and put the Pex A back into the shower also. Shower and the toilet, and that's about it that's on that side. And again, I have to run all the lines from the water supply, the clear water tank, across the bus to this sink over here, or the two sinks over here. And that's, what else? Going to have to run the water supply over to the reverse osmosis system and to the water heater. And that'll be all done after this rain stops. This is what we're doing today on the Brian's Bus Adventure. Have a good week. Remember to like it, share it, and subscribe to it. And if you like, get on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Brian's Bus Adventure. And help us. Donate a little bit if you can. That's not a big deal. Anyway, if you can, that would be greatly appreciated. And that would help us get on the road just that much quicker. Anyway, you have a good day. Thanks for watching. We appreciate all of you. Have a good week.